Assalamu alaikum dear students. As you know, we are discussing the astronomical telescope. Here I have drawn the figure. It is in the normal element. There are two types in the normal and when the final image is formed at the least distribution. Now here I have drawn the figure and the course of rays through a astronomical telescope in the normal edge is drawn here. Now look here dear students. A beam of light, this beam of light from the astronomical object at infinity is made to fall on the object. I will write it here, a beam of light. I think we will write it. A parallel beam of light from an astronomical object which is at infinity. At infinity is made to fall on objective lens. Now look at this one. This is a parallel beam of light from the object at infinity is made to fall on the objective lens. Now look at this objective lens forms the real inverted and diminished image. Here I will write it A dash B dash. This is the diminished image of the object which is at the infinity. It is formed by the objective lens. That means it forms a real inverted and diminished image A dash B dash of the object. Now dear students, the eyepiece is so adjusted that this image A dash B dash lies on the focus of the eye lens. That means adjustments are made in such a way that this image, which is formed by the objective lens of the astronomical object, it lies at the focus FE of eyepiece. Now dear students, as you know, when the object is at the focus, image is formed at the infinity. Now this object, this A dash B dash, acts as the object for the eyepiece and it is lying on its focus. And this eyepiece forms a highly magnified image of this object A dash B dash at an infinity. That means a highly magnified image is formed at infinity by the eyepiece. Now dear students, look here, the image which is formed at the infinity, it is erect with respect to A dash B dash and inverted with respect to the objective which is at the infinity. Now dear students, as you know, the astronomical objects are spherical. They are spherical. That means the final image being inverted does not matter. Why? Because generally the spherical these astronomical objects are spherical, so the final image being inverted does not matter. Why? Because they are generally spherical and the final image being inverted or erect does not affect our calculations. Now look here. Now we will discuss what is the magnifying power. Magnifying power of astronomical telescope. Now dear students, as you know, magnifying power is defined as a ratio of the angle subtended by the final image at eye to the angle subtended by the object at eye. It is defined as the ratio of the angle subtended by final image at eye to the angle subtended by object at eye. That means magnifying power will simply describe it is a ratio between the two angles. There is the angle subtended by the final image at I and the ratio and the angle subtended by the object at I when both the object and I are at the least distance of distinctive vision. Now look here, alpha and beta are the two angles. If alpha and beta are the angles subtended by object and image at I respectively, then now alpha is the angle subtended by the object at I and beta is the angle subtended by the image at I. Now magnifying power we have written here, it is the ratio of the angle subtended by the final image, that means beta, and angle subtended by the object at I, that is alpha. So we will write here magnifying power MP is equal to beta divided by alpha. It is the ratio of the angle subtended by the final image at I to the angle subtended by the object at I. Now the value of magnifying power, the value of magnifying power of astronomical telescope depends, it depends upon the adjustment of that color, depends upon the adjustment of telescope, that is distinct vision and normal, that is distinct vision and normal adjustment. Now the value of this magnifying power of the telescope, it depends upon the adjustment of the telescope. That means when the image is formed at the regions of distinct vision and when the telescope is in the normal adjustment. We are discussing the normal adjustment, and then we will calculate the magnifying power in both cases, when the image is formed at least distant vision and when the image is formed at infinity in case of normal adjustment, which we are discussing. That we will determine inshallah into next lecture. Till then, Khuda Hafiz.